Hi, and welcome to this Weekday Word. Our New Testament passage in the daily office today comes from the first letter of Peter, where we read this: As you come to him, that is Jesus, a living stone rejected by men, but in the sight of God, chosen and precious. You yourselves, like living stones, are being built up into a spiritual house, to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. We are being built up into a spiritual house as living stones. Sometimes I think we struggle in our spiritual lives because we are really fighting against what God is trying to do. We imagine that what God wants for our lives is for us to be healthy and happy and to live the American dream. We have these goals in our lives and we believe that God wants us to reach those goals. And it's not so much that He doesn't, although sometimes we do need to question that a bit. But it's more a matter of God's ultimate intention for us is not to make us healthy and happy and live the American dream. God's ultimate intention for us is to make us like Jesus, or in the language of this passage, to build us up into a spiritual house where, like the priests of the Old Testament, we have access to God and can offer sacrifices acceptable to God. In other words, we have the immense privilege of being those who will draw so near to God that we are one with Him and He with us. And so, what is God trying to do in our lives? He's trying to make us like Himself, and He's trying to make us fit for His presence. And it seems to me the more we understand that, the more we can cooperate with that. And the more we cooperate with that, the more we realize that this life is not about living out some worldly dream. This life is about becoming like the one we are meant to love with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so the more we fall in love with who God is, the more we are falling in love with who we are going to become. And so much of our strife, I think, in our lives comes from being at cross purposes with God and not cooperating with what He is trying to do. I pray, friends, this day that your desire turns to God Himself, and that desiring Him, you recognize that you are desiring true and abundant human life. Be blessed this day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.